Okay, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Sherry Teigman. It's lovely to meet everyone. I am a performance coach and a creative strategist, and as a 51-year-old woman who is some days losing her mind from all of this menopause stuff, I was blessed to find FemGevity almost 2 years ago, and I am a completely different person because Michelle and her team are saving my life. So Michelle and I had a chat about what more we could do about this stage of life. We all feel very lonely, and we're all highly accomplished in whatever it is we do, whether it's parenthood or our jobs or a mix of all of it. And as this phase of life hits, it's just very confusing to figure out where you fit in your own world, in your own body. So we decided to bring these classes forward so there's community here and it doesn't feel like a support group where we're not just moaning with our friends, being like, do you feel crazy? Do you feel crazy? And have no answers. So I do feel crazy. Hi, I'm Sherry and I feel crazy. And I want you to know there's a way out of the crazy. No, there's not. There's a way through the crazy, and we're all going to walk through the crazy together. So beautifully, I could only do this because my labs are looking better. I'm listening to the incredible practitioners at FemGevity, and I've retrieving pieces of myself back to then say, okay, I have the tools now to be able to semi-function and use my brain. So if I'm going to get to use my brain, what will it look like for me to be able to make this something that I feel good about again, myself? And that doesn't mean that I'm going to go back to who I was. And I even said that in the promotion of this. No one here should want to, well, I hope you wouldn't want to, should want to go back to when they were 25. At 25, I was an absolute moron and making bad mistakes in my life. Well, actually, I was a mom of a kid in the wrong marriage. And we all make our choices at 25, and wherever you were, to go back to that dismisses all of the wisdom that we find in our life since then. So I don't want to go back. I want to go forward without feeling like I'm dragging myself. And today we're going to be talking about our bodies changing and who we're willing to be. So in our last class, we talked about a lot about identity. And of course, that's still going to come up here, but we have these bodies, and let me know in the chat if your body has changed in the past few years, or you're looking around at your friends and everyone looks like they're wearing a blow-up tire around their stomach, or weird things are happening to your skin and your hair is changing. My nails changed. Like, how is that a thing? So my mom passed away last year, and I wish I had asked her more questions about her menopause before she passed when I was moving into this, but no one had any conversations about this. So what she would have said was, like, I asked my dad, she had some hot flashes and she was a little moody. And as a daughter, I feel guilty that I had no idea my mom was going through torture while I was just thinking she was my regular mom. But as you know, we call this, it's really a second puberty, and nobody tells us about this, especially physically. So 43, lots of changes. It's chaotic and confusing because there's not a pathway. There's no what to expect when you're expecting when they had a baby. Although there's a lot of good conversation happening around menopause now. It's still so individual. We can't track it like a pregnancy or track it like you get your period and your boobs grow and all of that. This is, I don't even know how many symptoms there are. I think 60 plus symptoms, and we all have our own cocktail, and some of us have physical issues before this that get amplified. So I'm an autoimmune disease person since I'm in my teens, and it all just fired up a couple of years ago. I'm thinking nothing's changed. I'm the same as I was. And it's because all of this kicks off what's already in your system, whether it's high cortisol from stress or your body not sure how to sort itself. For some people who exercise a lot, then the exercise is doing the opposite that you want it to, than it's always done in your life. So I'm going to ask you all to take a breath with me here. Make space for yourself today. The fact that you're even here is an act of self-care, and I know we're in all different time zones. I'm in England at the moment, so it's 6 o'clock. I know we've got 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. and probably a bunch in between. So thank you everyone for making the time to do this. So before we get into the concepts and the deeper conversations, I want you to actually land in your body, which most of us don't spend enough time in here, self included. Not in your to-do lists, not in the swirling thoughts that you have, not in the performance mode of how am I just going to push through, but just settling here. I want you to notice your feet on the ground or wherever they are. If you're sitting, standing, notice the weight of your body in your chair, even if you don't like what it feels like. And notice your jaw and your shoulders and your belly. Notice what you're carrying before we even begin. Because we spend so little time in here, it's easy to get angry at our bodies when they don't perform like they used to, which they don't. They're changing. And if we don't have the awareness of where we are, we don't know how to figure out where we want to go. So I want you to just close your eyes for a second while sitting in your body. I want you to choose one word for how your relationship with your body feels right now. Don't overthink it. No filter. Just what does the body feel like? You're more than welcome to share it in the chat if you want to witness. If not, just write it down for yourself. What does your relationship with your body feel like? My relationship with my body feels confusing. Oh, Michelle. Michelle and I are confused. Anyone else confused or scared or uncomfortable or surprised?
Was that your own answer? You were going to say confused too?
My answer was confused.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay.
Lee feels like she's falling apart. Feels like someone else, not my body, but someone else's totally. Where's the return receipt? Exhausted, tenuous, but evolving. I mean, who talks about this stuff? We all just look like we're functioning and we don't tell anyone any of this because what are even the words for it? So having a word to grab onto is a great start because no one here is hiding. Tortured. I'm going to say amazing, Lana. I don't mean it's amazing, but it's amazing to be able to identify it and know you're not going crazy. Tracy, feeling so much better after 6 months on HRT. Amazing. And some of us feel better on HRT. Some of us know our body needs it and we don't feel better. Some of us are not on it and we don't really understand what's going on. So we've got great clinicians for that. And I can tell you, I've met all of them and they all listen to me crying and they're all incredible. And the little nuances of being able to trust someone to say a weird symptom out loud and then have my supplements and my hormones change around my weird symptoms is just, I feel so seen. And I want you to feel like that, whether you're on HRT or not, about this session. Let me clarify. This session is not about body image. I'm not going to tell you to feel better in bigger jeans. I'm not going to say, oh, just love your body. It's not that. It's wonderful if we can get there, but I'm not there. So I wouldn't dare say that to you, saying that I can't get there. It's about ownership over our body and this self-governance about what is going on to these amazing systems that have carried us our whole life, and they're really tired and they're really confused and they feel like they're not ours. It's about belonging to yourself again in a body that has changed and is ever changing by the minute. And we're not asking for approval and we're not asking for applause. We're asking for a partnership. So I'm very blessed to have a partner that completely, poor guy, met me 3 years ago and very quickly jumped on this perimenopause game. So he met a completely different person and then it landed. So I've been divorced most of my kids' childhood, so in my early 30s all the way through. So I didn't have someone evolve with me. So some people who are in long-term relationships feel completely disconnected from their partner. I have a newer partner and I'm like, oh God, this is not what he came for. This is not what he signed up for. And I'm crazy and it's scary and embarrassing. So not only are we having this ourselves, we've got to represent ourselves to the world, whether it's sexually, as parents, as friends, checking in as everyone else feel crazy in the room when we're at work. So it's not only the internal, it's just, I don't know the rules of engagement for the outside world either. So we're going to start with the performance of what our body does. Let's talk about how we actually got here, because we landed here with no preparation. I heard a video the other day and I loved it. I was in perimenopause denial. I had no interest in going down this road. I can't stand when everyone jumps on a bandwagon of, this big ADHD right now. Everyone's got this and then I've got that. I don't like the labels. So perimenopause, I'm going to sail through this. It's a mindset thing. I'm just going to decide. Yeah. I did. My decisions and my reality did not go together. I'm like, okay, I can't fight this. The confusion that you feel in your body did not arrive with perimenopause or menopause. The scary part is it's been building for decades and we didn't know. Think about when you were little. You were a girl and your body wasn't neutral then. It was commented on. I remember being 12 and like covering up my boobs growing and like wearing 2 tanks up and the boys would snack my bra, or who was bigger and who was smaller. This started most of our lives. We've just gotten used to this. We were judged, we were conditioned, we were controlled. We were taught even before we understood what it meant that our body was public property to be watched, corrected, praised, or shamed. Now, I'm not even talking about the trauma side. I'm just talking about a girl walking through our societies, figuring our way out. Then, of course, puberty and adolescence hit, and we go all the way up. So then our bodies are sexualized, compared, and ranked. Out of nowhere, we used to play, and then all of a sudden, we're uncomfortable in our own skin. And we absorb that message that your body's value was in how attractive or desirable you were, or if you were athletic, how strong you were, how fast you could move. So depending on what hats and labels you wore, it was still coming from external to internal. And that's when many of us started this disconnection. So because if you're constantly looked at or worrying that you're being looked at, you stop asking how you feel in your own skin. Put a number down on what age you think you stopped remembering any of this. Like when you stopped being inside your body. For me, I think it was probably 9 or 10. Like that I just felt if I was tired, felt if I was excited, felt myself climb a jungle gym and be proud of myself, or I played hockey and it was great. After that, it was all up 7 or 8, Amy says. Like, this is scary stuff. And for many of us who have kids, I have 2 boys, but I look wondering, do they have this? I don't think they do. But girls today, this all starts even earlier than it did. So anyone else want to pop in a number? When's the last time you knew what it felt like to be in your body without a story, without a, oh, there's a lump and there's a this and there's a that, and oh, what does it look like? Can you see through my shirt and all of that? Give me some numbers, girls. 8 or 9, and nervous. 11. This is heartbreaking. So now we're in our 40s, 50s, wondering, oh, this just hit. It didn't just hit. We've been living like this and had no idea. Then we hit our adulthood, and then the performance. Lana, can't even actually remember. It's unbelievable. And then we're in adulthood and maybe motherhood for some of us. Your body became useful. It had a purpose, a vehicle for work and care, for output. Maybe you carried children, maybe you carried a business, maybe you carried everyone else's needs, maybe you did all of that like I did. The message was, and is, exhaustion equals worth. We laud ourselves for being busy, productivity equals our value, and your body's job is to keep going no matter what. I was a single mom. If I didn't feel well, I still had to get out of bed and take care of my kids. And I was proud of how I mothered, but I didn't link the performance to the mothering. It was all mushed together, very masculine, feminine, all climbed onto each other. And now we land here in, we'll just call it midlife. And then anxiety takes over. Exactly. And then we run our life on these tracks that tell us stories, and then our nervous system and our brain don't speak the same thing. So fear and excitement get linked in our head, creativity and anxiety get linked, and we end up these balls of performance, and then add on loss and experiences. We just have these movies flashing in front of our life, and we are very tired now. So we landed midlife, and our body's changing. Your body won't hustle the way it used to. It won't perform in the old ways. Your libido dips or shifts or totally disappears. Your sleep changes, which is the first thing they do to prisoners of war, is mess with their sleep. So like, we are in real dire positions now. Our energy is rewriting itself, and no one gave us the manual. This is not a failure. We are not broken, and we are not, oh, it's time to put on, get in a rocking chair and put on a cardigan. Like, I'm just getting warmed up at 51. I am not slowing down, but I have to not feel betrayed by my body. And that's what I want to help you and me do today if we do this together. There's wisdom. It's uncomfortable, it's loud, and it's unapologetic that our body is now telling us, I refuse to do your old performances. I'm not playing by your rules anymore. Your body is saying, I am not here to be managed. I'm here to be partnered with. And it's the first time in our life anyone gave us an opportunity for a partnership. But what's worse is we're not given an opportunity. We are being shoved to a partnership. If we don't listen, it's going to spin out. And it does. Many of us have burned out. Many of us are depleted. Relationships are changing. We feel irrelevant in our lives. We feel relevant in our kids' lives. We are the only ones who can turn this ship, but we don't know where we're going. So I first want to go over with you what's happening in your mind and your nervous system so you feel less crazy. This is actually scientific. Now, I'm not the science girl around here, but this helps me understand it, and then we'll go into the headspace and understand, which is my zone. So we're going to ground into the science. If we don't understand our physiology, we make the mistake loudly of blaming ourselves. I did something wrong, or it's not working. This doorbell's not working anymore. I'm not myself. Your hormones are shifting, but it's not just your reproductive ones. Estrogen and progesterone affect your memory, your focus, your mood, your temperature regulation. I had a hot flash an hour ago that was fabulous. I was very glad it happened before this. There may be another one. And your sleep. They affect your nervous system's ability to stay regulated in general. It's not just having a baby, not having a baby, having a period, not having a period. It changes everything. And if you, like most of us, have been living in long-term stress, caretaking, people-pleasing, pushing, overworking, your baseline cortisol has been high for years and you didn't know. That erodes all of your body's ability to be resilient, no matter how smart and fast your brain goes. It makes your body less adaptive. So it looks like the light switch went off and suddenly I can't cope is years and years and years of nervous system asking for relief, and us, me too, totally ignoring it. And then there's the desire conversation. This is a fun one. Libido does not just disappear, but it does change. It becomes, interestingly, less about the spontaneous spikes that were more natural for us when we were younger in our childbearing years, because it had to be for a primal, we're supposed to have babies. And now it's more about safety and honesty and pace and space, which means sex can, if we're willing to talk about it, can't be performance either, unfortunately, ladies. It has to come what feels true in your body now. And none of us know how to ask ourselves that question, which is very scary. But there's a gift that most women don't realize. Your brain in midlife is actually more plastic than it's ever been. It's primed to rewire, to form new patterns around pleasure, rest, expression, and self-trust, because we're being pushed to it, which means our brains are sorting. The old systems don't work. So our brains are looking for an answer, and when we don't know how to give it to it, it's making our body give us the answer. It's the start of a new connection to yourself, a chance to build this on truth rather than performance. So in the comments, in the chat box, let me know how that feels to hear, whether it's your libido or your sanity or your stress levels. Like, can you believe me, even if you don't know what to do yet, that it's an opportunity to understand yourself in a way you've never had a chance to in the first 40 plus years of your life? Are you willing? Are you scared? Are you ready? I'm skeptical, and I believe, and I'm ready, and I'm not ready. Like, I don't have a choice. I'm being dragged. So, and that's the thing. We're going whether we want to or not. And I don't think any of us want this. I don't think any of us are okay with it. And today is a beautiful opportunity for us to figure out what this looks like for each of us. I wish I could give you a script, but since I don't believe in them, I wouldn't. We have to go to your scripts and rebuild a relationship with your identity. So before we talk about reclaiming our body, we have to admit that this relationship was never based on truth. So for yourself, you can write them in the comments or write them down on a paper. Think about the stories you've carried for years. I'm lazy. If I gain weight, I lose my relevance. If I don't want sex anymore, I'm broken and I'm dried up. If I age, I disappear. If I'm not needed, then I'm totally invisible. These aren't just passing thoughts. They're operating systems. They're contracts you have with yourself, and they've been running in the background and building evidence, shaping every choice you make about food, exercise, sex, how you even walk into a room, what kind of clothing that you wear. So who's going to be brave to write some of their scripts in the comments here? Come on. Can I repeat that? I could try, Tracy, but I can never repeat the same thing the same way. So what scripts have you been playing in your mind? Where does your head go? Where does your body go? The stories that you tell yourself. So if I rest, then it's lazy. If I'm not being productive, then I'm not relevant in my life, or I'm not important. Amy, I have no idea who I'm becoming. It's a scary, unknown road. If I don't want sex, I'm broken. If I can't perform like I used to in all of my life, my brain is foggy. I can't spit back things at work. The younger people in the company are going to come up rise right over me because I can't keep up anymore. I'm too old to do ... Perfect. Again, perfect because we're talking open and honestly right now, not because it's fun to feel these things. So we have these stories that run on a tape, and then we have to take a look, and this is like a gut punch. Those scripts were never yours. They were inherited. They were marketed to you by the world. They were reinforced by culture, community, our careers, the industries we work in, the worlds we grew up in, our religions. And they're reinforced and reinforced until we think they're ours. And we internalize them so deeply that they sound like they're in our voice, and we live as though they're truth. So our good and bad days look like this. Our on and off days look like this. Me achieving and me failing looks like this. By whose metric system? It doesn't even make any sense. My brain is my business. What happens if I can't strategically think anymore? Girl, you know I'm right there with you. Like, that was my superpower. And now I'm like, what was my name again today? Where was I supposed to be? Like, as I look at my name, it doesn't even look familiar, and it's terrifying. So this is where our power comes back. Not through fixing or hustling or pushing through, because we all know it doesn't work. We have to make some new agreements with ourselves. Agreements like, I no longer tolerate or negotiate my worth with the mirror. I will no longer call my body high maintenance when she's driving me crazy. I will stop making sex about performance and start making it about truth. Now, we expect everyone around us to figure out what we need when we don't. So when we're annoyed that our kids are asking us a question when we're in the middle of a hot flash, or our partner has no idea how drained we are, and they come home and we're like, oh God, and you gear up, even though you still love them. It's like, I don't have the bandwidth for a conversation. I don't have a bandwidth for you to even hold my hand, let alone anything else. No one can meet us anywhere we are until we meet ourselves. No one can be kind enough. No one can be patient enough. Even our girlfriends, we can't fix it for each other. If we decide our bodies are no longer places that we have to apologize for, we have a fighting chance. And then we can rewire how we think about this and accept that we are coming into ourselves in a very different way. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute and put your hand on your belly. Yes, that belly that feels weird, or your heart, or anywhere that wants to be acknowledged. And I want you to just listen for a couple of minutes. Just listen. Listen to what she has to say to you. What did your body mean to you in girlhood? What role did she play in adolescence? What did she have to do and master in adulthood? And what is she asking for now that you never have given to her before? What agreements have you kept performing instead of living? What have you stopped doing with your body that used to feel good? What do you avoid seeing or admitting about this version of you? And most importantly, what kind of relationship do you actually want with your body? In its rhythm, in intimacy, in awareness, or even voicing it? So sit here for a minute. When you feel like you have something, stuff that you want to write down, we can't figure it all out today, but we do have to stop pretending that we're fine. We want to give a voice to this. So when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and just jot stuff down. You can pop it in the chat or just write for yourself. Any answers from this? Who you were, who you want to be, rewriting some of these agreements, and what do you want going forward? Gorgeous, Elise. I love that. I want synchronicity between my head and my body. Michelle's body asking for attention. I never gave attention and love to my body in girlhood. Never appreciated. It's heartbreaking. It's a lifetime. We take ourselves everywhere and we totally ignored her. Same like Elise. I know this sounds woo, but I feel like I hear everyone's little girl being like, say this. Remember when we used to do that? I used to play and not care what my butt looked like when I was running. I remember just snuggling on a couch and being comfortable and actually resting. Anyone want to unmute and share anything that came up? Sometimes it feels good to say this stuff out loud. You don't have to, but if anyone would like to share, you're more than welcome to. Anyone want to say anything before I move on? Come on, ladies. Okay, we'll save it to the end. So now I want you to choose one new agreement, not a goal, not a plan, an agreement, a deal you're making with kindness and compassion and love and having no freaking idea how to do this. It might be easy. We're not doing grand gestures to ourselves. I choose pleasure on my terms. I won't punish myself if I need rest. My body is not a project. I'm coming home and getting to know this home. I belong to myself first. So pick, those were mine. Write 1 or 2 new agreements for yourself. I love my body unconditionally. Tracy, that's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Say it out loud if you want. You can unmute or say it out loud in the room that you're in. Write it down if it feels better, but let it come from you. Polished, unpolished, raw, and true. Just what would you like? I want to feel safe wherever I am, finally, in my business. In my business. See, there we go. In my body, I can't even say it. Oh, life. We'll put my body first sometimes rather than always last. Gorgeous. My body deserves rest and a state of flow 1 time a week, every week for 52 weeks of the year. Oh, hallelujah. Everyone's nervous system's going, pfft. Tracy, I claim safety in my body. No one ever asked us what we needed, so we never asked ourselves. So the question then becomes, which story do we want to be running all the time? These agreements are beautiful, but the rest of the time we're in battering mode and it's really exhausting. So I want you to think of something that surfaced for you today. Maybe it was a story about your body. Maybe it was grief about something you haven't dealt with because you're in power mode all the time. Maybe it was desire that you miss being wanted or wanting something. And this is between you and yourself. Maybe it's anger. How many of you shove anger down like I do and have a stomachache all the time? Whatever it is, sit in the awareness, like call it an emotion. Everyone write down one emotion that bubbled up today. I'm pissed off at myself. I'm pissed off at society that I got to hear. Being a pretty smart individual, allowing myself to do this to myself. I'm angry about it. I'm grieving that I missed all these opportunities to love myself through this process. Imagine if we did everything we've accomplished, if we actually enjoyed more of the ride. Sexually, creatively, intellectually. Missed it all. Just go, go, go. That feeling in my throat and pit in my stomach. It's brutal. Because right now we're slowing down to actually feel. That's terrifying. I'm better in go mode also. Can't really name it, but I feel it. Feeling is even better, Tracy. We don't need more words. There's so many words in the world that don't work for us. Frustrated and angry, there's no one to address it. Totally, Marlene. Who the hell's going to listen? I don't even understand it myself. Beautiful. We have to start from there. Right now, I'm disappointed as I think about how much I avoid feeling to accept my exhaustion. Oh, who else feels like that? It's like, okay, next project, next achievement, just go, go, go. So at some point, it's going to balance out and matter. It's going to matter. I'm going to give you permission to matter just as much as achieving as when you're a sloth on the sofa, not remembering your name, not even able to pick something on Netflix because your brain's totally fogged over. Our bodies are asking us to stop running. Isolated, Apple, completely. I feel the same. And even with people who I love around me, who I can talk to about it, I don't want to talk about it. It's too many words. Oh, let me guess, I'm going to moan about this today again. It's exhausting. So then I'm isolated because no one knows. But when I talk about it, I'm irritated. Amazing options here, right? So ask yourself, what does my body want from me right now? Not in theory, not as an ideal. Smallest, truest sense. Rest, movement, play, touch, honesty, space with no one hanging off of you, expression. Listen and notice the first answer that comes. Sleep. Hallelujah, Marlene, me too. A whisper. What is your body asking you? Acceptance. Gorgeous. More vitality and vibrancy. Gorgeous. TLC. Mine's asking me for patience, which I don't have. Less people pleasing, more pleasing. Hello, Beth. Beth's used to me crying at her. This is so exciting for her to see me in a different state of being. Aww, me too. Does anyone know how to give ourselves this? No. So let's get this to an action step. More honesty in my relationship. Hallelujah. Yes. Here's the thing about the guys, and I feel bad saying this, they have no idea what happened to us. They stay the same all the way through. They're so lucky. No idea. Sex drive up, sex drive down. They have no idea, and they don't mean to have no idea. Even the good ones have no clue, and we're in front of them, and they're looking like, oh, should I breathe? Should I not breathe? I mean, there's some really funny Instagram videos of husbands talking about this stuff. It's funny to laugh at, but it doesn't change anything. And whether you're in a relationship or looking for a new relationship, it's scary. Totally, Tracy. What the fuck happened to my wife? Agreed. Like, I don't know. Do you have the rule book? Is it tucked underneath where like the VCR thing is? I don't know. In a bag with all of the cords that goes nowhere? No idea. So they haven't changed, and we're strangers to ourselves and them, and everyone's tiptoeing. And I don't know either, tiptoeing, like maybe he knows. And then they look at you with that pity and kindness thing. I'm like, oh, no. Don't look at me like that. Or expectation, don't look at me like that either. And then, oh no, they're not looking at me. I did something wrong. It's over. It's the tire around my stomach. Nobody wants me anymore. I'm chaotic. I screamed and then I'm fine. And he looks terrified. So we have to start with us, because in order to be more honest with everyone around us, I have a 23-year-old who finishes my sentence for me because I can't say anything. I'm like, I need the pickle. He's like, it's a car. I need the key. Mom, it's a window. I have no idea what's coming out of my mouth. And my kids are now adapting to trying to help me figure out what's going on with myself. So I have to slow down with my partner, slow down with my kids, slow down with my dad, slow down with my clients. As you can tell, I don't really have a slow mode, so this feels crippling to do. I feel disabled. We have to find out what action we're willing to take. More honesty with ourselves so we can start explaining to the people in our life who love us what we need. If I don't ask what I need, my boyfriend will say, what can I do? I have no idea. I don't know. Any suggestions? I don't know. And then I don't like being told what to do, so it's not helpful anyway. So what action am I willing to take this week to honor this need? Not a big promise, not a whole plan. One act of partnership with your body, forgetting everyone else for a minute. Everyone else will benefit from these small partnership commitments we make. Flow mode, exactly, Tracy. I don't have a slow mode. I do have a flow mode. It pops up once in a while. I'm like, ooh, shooting star. How do I get more of that? For me, it's playfulness. If I can get back into my playfulness, I stop caring about the speed as much. For some of you, you just need peace and space. Like, it's very hard to have, my kids are older. If you've got teenagers and perimenopause, this is an awesome dance. Everyone's in transition. Amazing. That's fun. So I want you to see yourself doing your one action. Everyone decide what your one action is going to be. I am getting on my damn yoga mat. Amy knows this. More often. I've been better, but not amazing. I've been taking the short, quick classes, having that honest conversation, Tracy. Beautiful. If you want to write your action step, your partnership with yourself, what is it going to be? And as you write it or say it out loud, your body's registering it. Okay, Apple, you and I are yoga accountability buddies. Because some days I'll message you and say, didn't do it, but I know. Finding more intentional opportunities to play and laugh more. Delicious. I love it. Gorgeous. Look how kind. And if you read them, it's a little kid list. I'm going to be nicer to myself. I'm going to go play. I'm going to have real conversations. It's gone. It's all gone. Okay. So your body gets this partnership and you get to be the gift of it. Only you can change this. Your body's waiting, and it will be less angry and less aggressive if you start a new communication. So I want you to ask yourself, and share if you'd like, what surfaced for you today that you didn't expect? A thought, a memory, a wisdom, anger, compassion for look at these amazing people being so honest in a room. Who gets to have these conversations? Understanding we are not alone. Absolutely not alone. I mean, this is exactly why Michelle and I wanted to do this. Because we're alone and it's confusing. And not because my pain is going to make you feel any better, but it's a new conversation to be like, oh, I'd never be this mean to you. You'd never be this mean to me. When we say it out loud in a collective, put all our puzzle pieces together, it's much kinder retrieval of like, I really beat myself up. Oh, Apple, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Remember, this isn't fixing anything. There's nothing broken. We're just a little upside down. We don't know the new operating system. We're reclaiming ourselves. And you've taken the first step of understanding, allowing, and rewriting this relationship that matters the most, the one with yourself. So regardless of your wardrobe feels like, regardless of what sex is feeling like, there are solutions to this and ways around it. But if we don't know what we want and need, the solutions won't work. I can tell you, I've got every hormone that Michelle and her team can possibly prescribe and then some. And until I soften, it doesn't work. I'm not letting it in. That says everything. My body won't accept it in. How the mixed messages about my body when I was a child has impacted how I'm feeling about my body during menopause. Tracy, this was so big for me because I started researching what women do. And I'm like, oh my God, we did this our whole life. Of course it's confusing now. I honestly thought I was good until about 2 years ago. I got this. Total bullshit. I have not been good since I'm little. Total performance mom a young age, single mom, so man and woman at the same time. Of course I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's a shock because I have no place to return home to. So I'm going to tease out what we're going to do in our next class, and then I'm going to open up to any Q&A and any shares that we want. Our next class, we're going to talk about what it feels like to become visible again. Not just seen, but witnessed. We're going to explore boundaries, which are very needed at this phase, our own expression, and daring to show up as this new woman who you've become. So I don't want you to feel like we're staying stuck in all the shit that's here. We're moving this. We're taking our identity and now our body's with us. And then we're going to move to how do we present ourselves in the world so we're proud of who we are again. So I'm going to open the floor to anyone who wants to share anything. Feel comfortable. I mean, I'm open and vulnerable. I understand that. I know this is hard, but do this for yourself. This is not for me, although I'm so excited to witness you. If you're on camera, if you're off camera, feel free to unmute yourself and just say something out loud. It's important to hear your own voice saying some of these things. It starts your body believing that your brain is actually listening. It locks in the connection and the commitment of this partnership. Would anyone like to be brave? Tracy.
Okay. So my big aha, I feel quite emotional. So I came from a very religious family, and coupled with all that was a whole bunch of sexual abuse. So there was this really mixed message of sex is not okay, premarital sex is not okay. Oh, in the meantime, the grandfather was doing all he wanted, not to me, but to everybody else. And mine was a different kind of thing. And so it's like this mixed messaging around what is acceptable and how to embrace my body. And then I've been one size all my life. And then I hit perimenopause and I gained about 3 inches around my belly, like suddenly. And I was on television at the time. And I was going in front of television with like 7 different cameras, and I would see myself. And the shame that I would feel around this was just so huge. And I'm very grateful that I have gone on to HRT and it's stabilized things, but the feelings still are there. And I'm a stylist. I work with women, like I'm a menopause style expert.
Amen.
So I work with women around how to dress so that we feel better in our bodies.
Beautiful.
And it has helped me a lot, but it still doesn't take away the fact that I have to deal with this stuff. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, so
You
I
so
just want to,
much.
I was not expecting to cry today.
Everyone always cries in my Zoom room. That's a given. You're always welcome to. Tears, laughter, it's all welcome. You can even swear in here if you want. What Tracy just shared, so many of us can link to our own stories, whether I had no idea this was there or I helped so many other people feel better. And I realized I'm actually trying to help myself. Hi, Sherry raises her hand. Hello. I feel like that. So when we are the caretakers and when we're the ones who are constantly pushing through, and it's from messaging from when we're younger, our relevance is then linked to our own trauma. So it's like, well, how can I put that down? This is what I'm known for. This is where people think my compassion comes from, or my skill comes from, or what we started. Like the stories of why we started what we did and why we're still on, they still play out even if we've outgrown them and they've shaped our lives. And now we look back and be like, shit, I would not have chosen that if that didn't happen at 3 or 10 or 30 or 45. So the acceptance and self forgiveness of I am where I am now and I can do the best I can now, but that doesn't undo everything else. And it is that compassion and the forgiveness and the truth telling. There's not a client of yours, Tracy, that would not be blown away by that you feel like that in front of the mirror too. I just filmed a podcast 2 hours ago and I was freaking my entire train ride there because I know, same like you, different angles. And I'm like, all I'm going to do when I see this recording is not care that it's all over the place and everyone's, I'm like, oh God, if I don't like how it looks, how am I going to tell the host to take it down? I can't. So it's hard for those of us who present a lot. I'm on this thing all the time or on stage and it's brutal because everyone will talk about my
It
talk.
is.
All I'm looking at, I'm like, did everyone see that roll at that angle? Because that's, I'm in all black. You can still see it. And no matter how big my necklaces are, there's only so much you can distract. So it's the visual back to the internal and then internal out to visual. And you know those women who walk around and couldn't give a crap and they look so confident. It has nothing to do with what they're wearing. It's what they feel inside comes out. But if I never asked myself this question for 51 years, how am I supposed to catch up? Thank you for sharing. That was really brave and beautiful.
And what I just want to say is that very few women actually feel completely fine. Like I just experience, I mean, I've worked with models, I've worked with some of them. In fact, sometimes the most beautiful, what we perceive as being the perfect body women are more complicated than the curvier girls. Because the perfect women think that they need to reach that. And now these days, the level's just getting higher and higher. It's not getting like so that's also one of the things is like I'm so grateful that perimenopause and menopause have been discussing now. But now there's like, oh, you can have the best sex of your life. And so then there's like, okay, well then what's wrong with me if I'm not having the best sex of
Right.
my life? Do you know? So like so then it's again, it's self-badgering. And I'm like, when are we gonna stop this shit?
Yeah.
Like when are we gonna start? And I'm including myself. And I mean I'm grateful for my experience because I design a whole collection of clothes that actually adapt to women's bodies and help us celebrate. And I know I feel so much better when I wear them. But like at the same time, I do not want to make women feel like they must reach a certain level to be okay. Because who we are is okay as we are.
Amen. Gorgeous. Preach, Tracy, preach. Love it. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Would anyone else like to share anything that came up for them today? Anything they realized about, again, it could be, oh God, I've been doing this since teenage years, or I didn't realize where this was coming from and now it's all landing here. It's not new. It's just time. Amy Burks.
Of course I will share. So I mentioned play and laughter and the thing that I'm finding over and over again is that when I get into the space where I feel like a total fucking lunatic, like I've lost my mind and I don't know myself and what is happening, and I'm spiraling, and I'm leaving Sherry messages and saying, please don't listen to that because it made no sense. I've come back to my senses again, right? That the sooner I can remember to try to embody a different state of being that looks something like play, then the faster I find myself again. Because even with, the moving hormones, if I can remind myself, okay, this is just what's happening now. This is just what's happening now. I don't have to like follow the stories everywhere they go. I don't have to, like get into the nitty gritty of like what is causing all the stress and anxiety happening in this moment. I can just feel that this is here and say, okay, got it. This is here. Let me not resist it. Let me also not activate it more. And let me see what I can do with this energy that might be something different that feels a little better. And getting on the floor and playing with my kid when normally I'd be like, I don't want to really, you want to play ultimate hide and seek?
Amazing.
Okay, fine. Let's go do that. Like all the things that I would normally be a no to, I'm trying to just be a yes to, because then it just changes everything like that.
And it's coming home to herself, whatever that looks like. Gorgeous. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share? There's no obligation to, but it does feel good to say it out loud. And if you're scared to say it out loud, you're more than welcome to type in the chat. I just want to give people space because we finally have a room where we all get it. I don't want you to feel like, ooh, I should have.
I think it's what's beautiful about this is as women, it's hard to admit like our faults and inconsistencies and things that we pick out about ourselves. Because I think with a lot of like social media, you have a lot of women promoting perimenopause and menopause, but yet they still look like beautiful and flawless. Like if you look like Halle Berry, and it just seems like unreachable. And I think to have like, it's so important to have like women, like all of us here together to admit that we like feel like crap and that there's someone else that just like kind of validates our mindset and that you're not crazy and you're not alone and there's other women that are willing to pull the curtain down and be like, I'm there too. And I know it is really hard to like feel beautiful, to look beautiful, and you want to just like stay in sweatpants, and sometimes you just want to be a bitch, but you're like, no, I'm not going to. I'm not gonna be that person. And it's so I think like on the outside perspective, it's really hard to break down the barriers of yourself to other humans.
And also when we allow ourselves to, the next thing is, shit, I got to tuck this all back in because in an hour I have to go pick up the kids or I have a meeting or it's showtime again. It's, if we feel this, what if I can't get up again? Like if I say this out loud, do I just tell the whole world to F off? I mean, some days I'd love to, which is a problem because I work with people all day long. So it's, how do we give ourselves permission to visit these feelings and visit these places? And then say, I'm allowed to be both. So I call this the glorious and. I could want to be a bitch and also want to be helpful. I can be brilliant at what I do and not remember my name some days. I could want to be in sweatpants and then perform for clients because it also brings me joy to be connected to people. So there's so many conflicting feelings that we get confused by. What do I actually want? I want space and then I'm lonely because nobody's around me. Nobody loves me. And then there are people that can't actually do any small talk. So it's the gentleness on, I'm allowed to need everything. I mean, I've had it. I'll make plans on Monday and by Thursday night, I'm like, who the hell said yes to that? I don't want to go. I don't even want to go to my kitchen, let alone out of my house. So watching ourselves to be allowed to want what we need and have it ever changing and be okay no matter what. Oh, Lana, I'm so glad. Amazing. I love it.
Sherry, it's that part of accepting that you don't need cohesiveness and consistency with your emotions in life. And you're supposed to feel bad and good some days and being okay with that and being grateful for that's normal because you don't know what's going to make you feel good and what's going to make you feel bad unless you go through it, if that makes
Also,
sense.
we've learned
In this
rules.
very weird way.
It doesn't work anymore. So if it used to work and we had our rules of engagement paper, when it changes, I'm not sure what makes me happy or sad anymore. And then, like Amy said, we don't have to activate it more or try to fix it. just observe, watch, like, whoa, that's a tough day. I can't imagine why. You didn't sleep last night. You're not digesting your food. You don't remember if you took your HRT in the morning, or Halle Berry just slaps a patch on her and she looks pretty good to me. Why is my patch not working like Halle Berry's? To check which brand she uses. And it's all this chaos. I've seen myself even comparing it. I'll be on with Beth or Chris and I'm like, sorry, I'm such a hard patient. What? I come with a lifetime of stuff in my body. It's not going to be instant. And then we start comparing menopause stories. Like Tracy said, like, why isn't it working for me? We've been taught this our whole life, and now's when we don't want to do it anymore. So now we're pissed off about it. And I don't want to be happy or sad. I just want to be. And I want to enjoy what I can and not care about when I don't. Missed opportunities. Amazing. Take one more share. Anyone else want to say anything or share? I love that. I'm so glad, Christine. Have we thought of doing an ongoing support group for Perry? Well, this is our start. Anyone have any questions for me on the topic? Anyone want to ask anything or, be specific about something? I'm more than happy to do it on the fly. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Thank you for all being so brave. Listen, this is a gift to me to be able to talk to my poor boyfriend. He hears about it all the time. He's very patient, but he doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. To speak about this in a way where we educate ourselves and give ourselves permission to feel what we feel. Like, I will now have an evening where I'm like, you know what? I don't have to be on. And no one's asking me to. I think I need to be. So thank you, all of you, for showing up so beautifully and openly. And it's scary stuff, and you didn't know what you're walking into. And just the trust in me I can't thank you enough, Michelle, for letting me into your beautiful world. Feels like the Wild West. Previous generations didn't talk about it. Absolutely, Elise. Absolutely. So we're all scrambling for knowledge, unlike motherhood and working. It's true. Even if those were outdated, at least there was some sort of a blueprint. I understand why women went into insane asylums in their 50s years ago. I feel like I'd happily check in and be like, I'll leave my coat at the door, take my phone, I'll take a white jacket, close my door, let me take a nap, which I can't sleep when I try to take a nap. So absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody. If you want to share this replay, we're going to put it out and make sure that if someone that needs to hear this, it'll be put up on YouTube. Our magician angel, Apple, will transcribe it and put it up onto YouTube, and we'll send out the replay. And we just want more of these real conversations and real connection without solutions, just really talking about real stuff out loud. And when I have a solution, I'll bring it to you, but it's more, I want to encourage you to think differently so that we can ask ourselves better questions and find our own answers. So lots of love to everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you next time. Take care.